Good evening. This is Daily Recall for March 24th, 2026. I'm Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. Yeah, lots of stuff going on today with the Iran war. Looks like I think it's going to escalate, like ground troops. But Trump keeps saying, oh, there's talks gonna go. There's talks, negotiations are happening, and we're gonna reach a deal, and all great stuff. This is what he's saying today. Kind of continuing yesterday's talks about like a 5 days pause and attacks on energy infrastructure in Iran. So he's saying this for the markets, like so the stocks don't crash or the oil doesn't go through the roof. It's like maybe there's actual talks going on, who knows? Or it could be, I think it's just BS. I think they're planning an invasion. Literally, right now they're sending troops, so it's hard to know what's real and what isn't. But they released like this 15-point plan. A 15-point of a proposal for like a 30-day ceasefire, and Iran's said all day, it's like, no, we're not talking. It's all fake. Like they're lying. We're not negotiating. The war will continue until our demands are met. So it's hard to know what's really actually going on. So that's kind of the day it's been today, and also they're still bombing each other. Even though Trump said like the war is won, he said that again today. Really weird. Keep saying the war is won, and yet they're still bombing. And there's a report that they're going to send the airborne unit, or I don't know, the 10th airborne. I don't know what the number is. Like it's a really elite unit. So they're like building up, first is the Marines, now it's the airborne. So it's like they're sending troops. I don't think they're going there for fun. And they're saying that'll happen by like the weekend, like when the markets close. But I don't know. He can only do this markets close, markets open trickery for so long before like the markets start diminishing returns from his news, his tweets or his posts back and forth. But anyway, also I can't do my X account because I got suspended today because I was joking about sending Mark Levin to Guantanamo Bay and maybe waterboarding him. I guess that's probably not good. Shouldn't have said that. But yeah, instantly instant suspension for 7 days. Like 2 seconds, like judge, jury, executioner. Whatever, I don't care. I'm kind of happy because, like, this war kind of driving me nuts too. Like it's driving a lot of people nuts. But I kind of don't mind taking a week off of posting anything. I can't post anything. Can't even bookmark anything. Can't retweet anything. Nothing. I don't care though. I'm enjoying it. So, yeah, don't threaten to waterboard Mark Levin, or else you get suspended. So I think, though, all this talk about negotiations is all bullshit. Israel wants to destroy the country like it's doing to Lebanon, like it did to Syria, like it's doing to the Palestinians. So they want to fracture it up and make it weak and easy to control. So you can't do that through negotiations, especially when the Iranians are dug in. They're not going to like say, oh, or they might fall apart, which would be a bad thing for everybody. But the point is It's not ending anytime soon. That's the point. They're dug in. You got to go get them. It's going to take years, potentially. So, crazy. It'd be crazy. Hopefully, it might not happen. Like, maybe these peace talks are actually legit. But I don't think so. Like, I think the plan, Israel, Netanyahu says we're going to continue to attack. So, I think that's the plan. So, but lots of stuff going on today. So, Israel's getting bombed, Iran's getting bombed, Lebanon's getting bombed, Iraq's getting into it. They're starting to get into it. Fighting U.S., like bombing U.S. positions in Iraq. And Kuwait's getting a lot of bombs. They're concentrating their missiles on Kuwait because I think that's where the Marines will go through, is Kuwait, through the border to Iran or whatever. It's like right there. So I think that's why they're bombing. They're firing missiles at Kuwait a lot today. So yeah, it's crazy. If the US does invade, they might not, but I think they will. Yikes. So, just since I can't do anything on X except read it, I'm just going to go down onto my For You stream timeline or whatever feed, my For You feed. So not necessarily, not people I follow, but people I guess are suggested for me by the the X. All right, I'm only going to stop on the Iran ones because there's a lot of distractions on the internet. Maybe they don't want to show me. Okay. See this one, I don't know how true this is. It says Iran has said it will not negotiate with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. I wonder why. Geez. Deeming them as the UK did as foreign agents serving Israel instead of demanding to negotiate with J.D. Vance. VP has positioned himself as against the Iran war, but supportive of the president, now has the chance to negotiate an end to the Iran war. I don't know how true that is. It could be just bullshit for the markets. So much misinformation. You don't know what's true and what's not. So maybe J.D. Vance is going to be, but I could see them not wanting to deal with those other two guys because they kind of totally lied and backstabbed them last time. All right. So yeah, J.D. Vance. I have a feeling he's just as controlled as Trump, but we'll find out. We'll find out soon, I think. All right. Sorry. I don't know how reliable this is. Iran military spokesperson sent a new message. If your criminal army reveals the true number of dead and wounded, it will shatter the order of your cowardly and panicked army. You have confused this war with Hollywood movies. That's interesting about there's a lot of talk about the U.S. hiding the casualties numbers. So basically dead and injured. And, they can only hide it for so long. So who knows how bad it is. Hopefully it's not but it could be, it could be much worse than they've reported so far. That'll be, you can't hide that forever. All right. Let's just keep going here. Here's some of the rocket videos. Visual confirmation of the moment a Hezbollah rocket directly struck a building in Kiryat Shmona, northern Israel, about 45 minutes ago. Let's see if it has sound. It'd be crazy if you lived in like we take that for granted here in Canada, getting bombed with missiles. It'd be nuts. Not in a good way. Well, all right, there you go. Little war act. See what they're facing. All countries in the Middle East. Here's another thing I noticed today. Every single paid MAGA and Israel influencer is losing their minds about Joe Kent testifying in the Tyler Robinson trial. That's the guy who's supposedly shot Charlie Kirk, which very likely means Israel or our Department of Defense and possibly Trump himself were likely. Oh, well, I don't endorse this. It's just on my feed. Definitely the Charlie Kirk thing is suspicious. Like, the guy gets shot and 6 months later they're at war with Iran, and that was his huge issue with Trump stopping that war. Like, it's a bit of a coincidence. I don't believe that. Poor Charlie. 6 months after they bury him, this is what they do. Okay. Iran's underwater dragon just entered the Arabian Sea. The Asdar Yellow Electric Silent 600-kilometer range, 200 kilograms of explosives. Sonar cannot find it. U.S. fleet is rerouting. HMS Anson arrived with Tomahawk missiles. The Asdar was already there. Strait of Hormuz is my territory. Was this an Iranian video? Let's see what this is. Yeah, it is. No.
My name is the Asdar. I am Iran's most dangerous underwater drone. And right now, I am on a hunt.
8 meters long. Electric propulsion. Zero noise.
600 kilometers on a single charge. I operate down to 200 meters deep with 200 kilograms of explosives. Hey! Let me show them if they can open this strait as long as I am here.
I think this is an actual Iranian video.
The nuclear powers HMS Anson just arrived in the Arabian Sea. How dare they? In my waters.
All right, HMS Anson. You think a nuclear submarine can hide from me?
It's like Thomas the Train, except it's Thomas a nuclear sub.
U.S. warships, UK submarines, commercial tankers. Welcome to your worst nightmare. The Strait of Hormuz is my territory.
Holy shit.
Follow War Tune. Every day, a new weapon, a new...
I don't know if that's like a actual, just Iranian, pro-Iranian account, or it's actually the Iranian government. But I've seen a few of these videos, like, they're definitely playing the PR game. Like, Israel's really good at the PR game. And the US, obviously, with the Hollywood and all that. But they're starting to play it with the AI and all that. It's interesting. But if they have a lot of these missiles, like these what are they called? Like torpedoes, but they can move around like on their own. Who knows? So I'm sure we'll be seeing those, hearing about those. All right. Let's just stop. Here's this Joe Kent guy on all the podcasts. And let's see what he says here.
Having people argue their cases when you have the 18 intelligence agencies. So getting the 18 intelligence agencies to agree on anything, it's very challenging. It is a very laborious and it's sometimes a very intense process of coordination and having people argue their cases. When you have the 18 intelligence agencies saying without a doubt that Iran is not working towards a nuclear weapon, and the Defense Intelligence Agency doing battle damage assessment, which is what the DIA really specializes in, is having these military-based assessments, that's what I'm going to go with. Being influenced by the IAEA or by another government, Israel in this case, saying like, oh no, even though you conducted Midnight Hammer and your 18 intelligence agencies say that their nuclear capability is gone, they're still somehow digging out from the rubble, and they're going to be able to assemble 10 bombs in 2 weeks. Again, sorry, I'm going with with what the director of national intelligence said, and she's saying that based on the research and the analysis and the rigorous debate of 18 intelligence agencies.
So yeah, that's Trump's saying all day today. He's been saying a lot lately, oh, they were going to have a nuclear bomb. They were going to have a nuclear bomb. And basically he's saying the opposite. This is the guy who resigned, Joe Kent. And they're really going after him. They're calling him all sorts of nasty names, Nazi and fascist. And because he dares to question the Israel influence in this war. And he's like a high profile guy, so they gotta tear him down. He was on Mark Levin, and Mark Levin was just, that's how I got suspended. Because of Mark Levin. I muted him though. Because I don't follow the guy. I don't follow Mark Levin. But he's there all the time, so I muted him. But I should have muted him before getting suspended. I muted him after. Okay. But Mark Levin had him on. He went on Mark Levin. He was rude. Mark Levin was rude and ignorant and basically disrespectful. You know, this guy's a decorated veteran. That's how they really feel, these warmongers. They don't care. Once you start questioning them, you're nothing to them. All right. This is another thing going on is with Trump. He's being accused because he's the one putting out these posts that move the markets. That somebody close to him is benefiting from insider trading. So I'm sure they'll be looking into that. You know, I don't know. It's pretty ghoulish, really, to make money, profit over death and destruction. Like, you know, because the market goes down when they bomb people on the weekend, and then the market goes up when Trump says they're talking. So, you know, these guys are making money on this stuff. It says insider trading scandal just got worse. It wasn't just oil. Someone also made a massive unexplained trade on the S&P 500 exactly 15 minutes before Trump's Iran war tweet. Hundreds of millions of dollars made in minutes. They knew exactly what he was going to say. So, that was yesterday. When he reversed his decision to bomb the electrical plants, he said, we're going to wait 5 days, and that shot the market up. Yeah. And today even, they released that all this, some Israeli channel said, just as the market was closing or something, that there was talks going to happen. And they were talking about it all day. So they're trying to keep the markets stable, and play the markets too. Meanwhile, people are getting bombed. Okay. Let's see what the latest here is. Israeli emergency officials reported more than a dozen casualties after an Iranian missile strike hits Israel, with 11 people suffering. Okay, mild injuries. Let's see. Hopefully this is real. Fox News Channel. I don't know how old that is. You don't know what's real or not in this. But both, Israel is getting hit by missiles. They are censoring it, but they're showing some of it now. But Trump said the war is over. So also, I see countries like Philippines got like a state of emergency because they don't have gas, or it went up way up in price. So that's just if it spreads to other countries, there would be some anarchy because people don't have gas. It's like Walking Dead in no time. All right. And then you hear stories like this today. White House is in complete chaos. Trump claims Iran is begging for a deal and eyeing a bigger prize in oil. I don't know what that means. A big prize in oil. Meanwhile, Iran denies any talks. The Strait of Hormuz remains blocked, and the U.S. is secretly deploying elite paratroopers. Total cover-up. So, yeah, lots of confusion. Lots of confusion. But I think as long as you accept the premise that they're not gonna, their goal for Iran is not no ceasefire or peace deal. As long as you accept that, like their goal is a zero-sum win. None of this negotiation nonsense. Then you don't, you cut through all the other noise, like the complete chaos and all that. It's just going to be a nice, nasty, all-out war. Hopefully not, but it looks like that's what they plan for, and you don't plan for these on the ball, on the fly. You take months of planning. Okay. Here's this. Wall Street energy specialist says issues a warning to American citizens. Trump's Iran war is about to trigger the biggest oil shortage U.S. has ever seen. Worse than 1973 or 79 combined.
Sometime in the next couple of
He could be wrong. This guy's not.
Again, we're talking the biggest supply disruption the world's ever seen. I'm going to even quote Fatih Birol, who said, he's the head of the IEA, who said this is the biggest disruption of both 73 and 79 combined. So he himself says this thing's really big. You can't expect that this is not going to have a physical impact. The physical market is really going to bite sometime in the next couple of weeks. I mean, the reason why China is protected right now, they've been hoarding for years, built up a huge stockpile in anticipation for an event like this. And that's what the SPR was created for, but we drew it down in 2022. And so when we look at consumers, I mean, you go back to the 70s, people were building fuel tanks in their backyards to be able to supply their automobiles. So this hoarding dynamic, it's underway.
All right, so who knows? He seems pretty confident in his prediction. We'll see. But Australia's already running short. Slovenia, I heard. Philippines. So maybe it just hasn't hit here yet. Keep an eye on the price of gas. We'll see. It's been at 164 for the list last few days. 164 or so. Maybe a little more or less, but around there. Except for the reserve. But Yeah. The oil price is getting screwed with a lot too, like with Trump's comments, and like the price goes up or the price goes down when he says there's talks. Price goes up when there's bombs. So it's not like really clear what's the clear picture of oil and where it's going. Oh, it looks like it's going up, and it's being like artificially restrained right now, but that can't last. Okay. Yes. And everything else is going to get expensive too, not just the gas. That's a big problem. Like, if you have like a restaurant or something, you're going to get hit with costs, your supply costs. It takes a while to kick in through the chain, but if it goes the way it's going, yeah, you're going to get a lot of supply increase, price increases. No, and just for people, regular people at the supermarket, it's going to be, when gas goes up, everything goes up. Okay. All right. No Iran news. What's going on? Yeah, well, anyway, that's the gist of the day. War is expanding. Bunch of countries getting bombed. Trump talking about peace all day. But I think he's, like I said, he's gonna talk about, they're gonna put stories out about peace and diplomacy all week until the weekend, and then they'll start with the invasion maybe. So that's where we're at. We don't know if they're talking or if that's all bullshit. We'll find out. This is where Trump stands with the U.S. Trump's approval hits 36% low as fuel prices surge amid Iran war. Yeah, if the gas goes up a little more, he's even a little bit, but it's probably going to go up more than a little bit. There's going to be a already unpopular war is going to be very, very unpopular. All right, here's some more. Day 25. It's only been 25 days. Imagine this for 4 years. Oh. Israel burning all over the country. Israel is falling into total chaos. Israel is begging for a ceasefire. I'd heard from some sources some IDF soldiers are preparing on white flags. I don't know what a white flag is. Yeah, I don't know. They're begging for a ceasefire just to rearm. Kind of hard to understand they're begging for a ceasefire when they're like literally invading southern Lebanon. So it's all noise. The plan is someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. That's the plan. Oh, here's an Iranian cluster bomb anime. Might as well watch it. I don't know if this is the government. I don't know if this is the government or Iran. I hope I don't get in trouble for showing this. Well, it is on X. It's like Thomas the Train, but Iran version. My kid would love this. Mario the Missile. That's crazy. Missiles are crazy anyway. That's crazy how the missile defense works too. That's jeez. How long is this video? Okay, it's almost over. Okay, buddy, when are you gonna... What the hell is going on now? Oh, there it goes. So it just does all these little cluster bombs. Boom. Oh my gosh. They're gonna start making these cartoons. This is like Thomas the Train, but World War III version of Thomas the Train. Marvin the Missile. No, I don't know who's making these. It's not the Iranian government, no. It'd be hilarious if it was, actually. We saw the torpedo cartoon and now this one. All right. Almost done here. I think we got the gist of today. I think it's not gonna de-escalate, let's just say. Plan accordingly. This is kind of a funny video. I don't know who's making these. Iran War, the movie. This is funny, actually. Let's watch this.
Way than they were 5 years ago. My God!
Hold on.
That's dangerous. Sir, they're about to go nuclear. How long do we have? They're 2 weeks away. How 2 weeks away are they? Even more 2 weeks away than they were 5 years ago. My God! That's dangerous levels of 2 weeks away. I know. Son, if anything happens to me, continue my work. We're only 2 weeks away. I will continue, inshallah. Now I'll go to where no one can find me. My office on the 3rd floor, right by that really big window.
This AI's crazy stuff.
Sir, if we attack, they will close the Strait of Hormuz. They don't have the balls to close the Strait of Hormuz. They just closed the Strait of Hormuz. And oil is now over $100 a barrel. Please keep me out of this. No one likes this war. And I want to be president one day.
Iran War, the movie.
Come on, send a boat or something.
You're the most powerful military in the world. You send your own boats.
That was a test. Ha! You fell right into my trap. Sometimes the best reason for war is no reason at all.
All right, so a lot of funny videos making the way. It's such a horrible thing going on, but a lot of funny videos. This is where war is going. This is how war propaganda is being conducted now. Okay. This is a good post here. I just woke up, read the news on the new taco attempt, which is Trump always chickens out. That's what it means, taco. So basically, it's when he gives good news, like to the markets, even though there is no good news. So he read news on the new taco attempt, Iran refusing it, and rocket attacks carrying on in the Middle East as nothing happened. As if nothing happened, okay. Furthermore, more U.S. troops are moving to the Middle East. Now watch the oil price. All this charade is clearly a cover for market manipulation. So yeah. So we're going to have an oil shock, but they've been keeping the oil price stable with this market manipulation, probably some other methods. Fixing the market, I guess. They do that. So hopefully we'll see where the actual, how high the price goes. We'll find out soon enough. This is another funny thing I saw. They're moving the draft eligible age up to 42 and removing the marijuana conviction loophole because there aren't enough Americans willing to fight and die for Israel. So yeah, I think it was like 34 before, now it's like 42. So yeah, sign up if you're for the war, I guess. Okay. Yeah. They've been doing Lego videos too.
For a lie, listen. Yeah. Yeah. Make America great again.
They're doing the TikTok videos. I never thought I'd see that.
We will see what happens, yeah. Watch this. Sacred defense, we protecting the soil. Why you sacrifice soldiers to pay for your spoil? You put you in the globe, sitting on your throne. Now we turning every base into a bed of stone. It's a slaughterhouse, a trap you couldn't see. Welcome to the graveyard of your vanity. The secrets are leaking. The pressure is rising. We locked on the target. And now you are hiding. LOSC. Yeah, we spelling at your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a fucker while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC. Taste the ash of defeat. LOSC. Yeah, we spelling at your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a fucker while you shaking in your sweet. LOSC. Taste the ash of defeat. Swag's fighting in your suit, hiding Epstein's ghost. You sent your boys to die on the bloody coast. Not a revenge for the leader's blood is purely mine. Every drop of his blood is a missile on the line. You thought you took him out.
All right.
Thought the fire was dead,
I've seen
but it
enough.
never
Okay,
come
you get the
in.
idea. It's all propaganda. Never thought I'd see that kind of propaganda. I like the Thomas the Missile ones better. The cartoons. No, I'm not really a Lego guy. All right. Okay. So that's pretty well it today. Bunch of market manipulation, people making money off the war, and bombing still going on all over the Middle East. So it'll be interesting when the invasion starts, when it starts. Should be this weekend. Something to watch this weekend. All right. Crazy. All right. Jesse Waters. This is another indication where things are going. 82nd Airborne Division is on its way. Karg Island in the crosshairs. Tip of the spear could drop in within hours to seize Iran's oil lifeline. Air supremacy locked. We negotiate with bombs. That's what Pete Hegseth said today. Strait plus island equals checkmate. Final act loading. So basically, they're saying they're going to take the Strait of Hormuz and Karg Island. All right. So that's what we're looking forward to this weekend, I guess.
17 flights into the region. Fox News alert: the commander of the 82nd Airborne Division has just been ordered to report to the Middle East. The president's aiming to secure the strait and maybe take Karg Island, Iran's crown jewel. The 82nd's a light infantry parachute assault unit, usually the tip of the spear, and can deploy anywhere in the world in less than 18 hours. Central Command has already bombed a ton of targets on Karg Island. You'd expect the paratroopers to drop in at night, secure airfields, do a quick repair job on the strip, and pave the way for the Air Force and Marines to deliver more men, armor, and gear. It's risky, but once you control that island, you control Iran's economic lifeline. All this as more elements of U.S. Special Forces move into the Gulf. A recent surge in C-17 flights into the region indicate a light ground strike force could take action imminently. This wouldn't be a ground war. These units are designed for precision.
So you notice Jesse, like this is the guy that they replaced Tucker with when they fired Tucker Carlson. Because Tucker Carlson wouldn't be saying this kind of drivel. So basically he's pumping up the ground troops for the American public. He's making it sound like it's going to be Chuck Norris and Delta Force. And, kind of conditioning people to accept the inevitability of the ground, boots on the ground. That's his job. That's what his job is. Normalize it.
Speed and impact. They bring together elite elements from the SEALs, Rangers, and Delta. Their job? Execute the most dangerous and sophisticated missions in the world, like dismantling networks and eliminating high-value targets. These special operators do it with minimal footprint and maximum effect. If there's a decisive blow to strike, these are the men to do it.
This guy sounds like a used car salesman here.
Keith Kellogg.
I'm a big believer in putting boots on the ground, not necessarily into Iran, but taking Karg Island and also taking the Strait of Hormuz. Look, we kind of need to do.
I'm sure they'll just let you.
As this elite task force gets into position, what's left of the Iranian military is being crippled. We've achieved air supremacy, so our B-2s are refueling mid-flight and continuing to drop heavy ordnance. And we're getting help from the British.
B-52 bombers now launching strikes from RAF Fairford in Britain with a full complement of 24 2,000-pound satellite-guided penetrator bombs. Those normally need to be dropped 5 to 15 miles from the target.
All this is happening as we enter day 2 of the negotiations with the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament. The regime's now come under pressure from its last 2 allies. The Chinese and the Russians are telling Tehran to lay off the strait and cut a deal before Trump seizes the oil. But even though the United States is in peace talks with the Iranians, both sides still letting it fly.
You can see first responders here that are at the scene of a ballistic missile impact in Tel Aviv. The side of this apartment building.
So I don't know if any of that is true. Like, is there peace talks going on? Like Jesse Water, like he's making it sound everything's so rosy. Like there's nothing going wrong. So it's really hard to believe sometimes. Like Fox is bad. This is the boomer slop.
Totally sheared off as the first responders are working to remove rubble and debris from this area. Multiple people were injured during the last Iranian ballistic missile barrage, and a significant amount of destruction was caused to the street, cars on the street, an apartment building sheared off of the side here in the northern part of Tel Aviv.
Iranian command and control is shot, so lone survivors are shooting till the powder runs dry, sometimes indiscriminately into residential buildings, sometimes at American allies. British Special Forces had to repel 14 Iranian...
So basically he's saying Iran's so destroyed now.
But the president says it could all be over soon.
They have no anti-aircraft equipment left, no radar left, no leaders left. The leaders are all gone. Nobody knows who to talk to. But we're actually talking to the right people, and they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want to make a deal. And we'll see what happens.
The Secretary of War says the U.S. military...
See, they're whether it's true or not, they're trying to say the Iran military is on its last legs, so when we put in the ground troops, it's all going to be over. So they're making the rosiest picture ever for pre-invasion. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're totally right. I don't think they are. But that's this whole segment here is just getting people pumped up for the ground troops and saying it's going to be a piece of cake, which sounds really dangerous, really. And I haven't seen that anywhere else. Only Fox is saying this rosiness.
Exquisitely.
Never has a modern military been so rapidly and historically obliterated, defeated, from day one with overwhelming firepower. That's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation
So the
as well.
boots on the ground.
We negotiate.
That's why we
with
need the
bombs.
boots on the ground.
You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees. Our job is to ensure that.
We told the mullahs we'd turn the lights off, and within hours, they came to the table. And they brought a gift.
They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it, so that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Related to the Strait of Hormuz and the flow?
Yeah, it was related to the flow and to the strait, yeah.
Text me at the end of the show what you think the gift is, because I have no idea. We do know the Iranians can't bribe their way out of this. The American objectives haven't changed.
Remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Just, you know, I said yesterday, what are the top 10?
This is what he's going to justify
Number
the
1, 2,
ground
and 3
troops.
is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
Iran's told every administration they don't want a nuclear weapon. So that's a lie. So what's changed? Now they can't do anything about it when we verify it. That's why Trump says he's going to go in and take the uranium.
So there's your justification for ground troops.
Reporting that the Trump administration has delivered to Iran, by way of Pakistan, a 15-point peace plan. The New York Times reports that Iran may have trouble delivering a quick response. Senior Iranian officials have been struggling to communicate internally, and they worry Israel could just bomb them if they meet in person. And we reportedly gave the Iranian speaker immunity, so no one's going to kill him for the next 5 days.
Oh, I'm sure he'll take that seriously.
An Israeli source says Trump's also demanding 0 uranium enrichment. 0. Now, why aren't we negotiating with a new Ayatollah? Exactly. No one's seen him or heard him.
So,
The
yeah.
Iranian people now have a new nickname for the gay supreme leader. You ready? The Cardboard Ayatollah. The whole world's waking up to the Iranian threat. Arab nations are accusing Tehran of committing terrorism against every country on earth. It's not just the senseless drone attacks and blocking oil tankers. Iran's blocking the flow of fertilizer. A lot of people are going to go hungry if the regime doesn't surrender.
Jesse's gone totally propaganda meister here. Holy.
Israelis on the same page. Imagine that. Both countries.
Not that he was a hardcore journalist before, but this is over the
And the
top.
international naval convoy has grown from 22 countries to 30. Rubio strung them together and has been hitting the phones pretty much nonstop. The British Royal Navy will spearhead the coalition. Hopefully, this means America and its allies are getting ready to win the peace. J.D. Vance has also been a part of the negotiations with Tehran. A White House official tells Axios the situation's fluid. If we don't strike a deal, we'll go back to bombing them.
Mm-hmm.
The Pentagon says, fine with us.
I don't want to say this, but I have.
So the thing, also another thing with the peace deal talk. So they talk about the peace deals all week, saying, oh, we're in talks, and they very well might be in serious talks, or they might not be at all. But what they're doing is trying to say to the American public and to the world public opinion is, hey, we tried, we did our peace initiative, and they didn't agree to it. So it's kind of like the quickie justification for invasion. Or it could be totally true and they're in peace talks. But I don't think that's true. I think it's just a smoke screen to say to people, hey, they didn't want peace. We wanted peace. We tried. That's softening people up for this ground invasion is going to be a shock once it happens.
I said, Pete and General Raisin Cane, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad.
We'll find out if it's settled soon.
Pete didn't want it to be settled. It's
Pete, the warmonger.
These guys are doing a great job.
The commander-in-chief looks to be laying the groundwork for a final act. The strait's the key. Carg Island, the cherry on top. Their military has been decimated, but we still have a little work to do removing the uranium. Now, even if the regime loses and a few regime remnants are still intact, they'll claim they won. And the media, they'll probably agree.
If you read the papers, you think we're tied. You think we're in a tough battle. We are roaming free.
Everything's great.
Tehran, the city, Tehran, as opposed to Iran. We're roaming free. We can do whatever we want.
The media is just parroting Iranian state TV.
The war's going great.
The president says we were negotiating with Iran. And the press said, that's not what Iran said.
We've learned that Donald Trump has been lying to the American people from the start, and he keeps lying to the American people.
So you believe the Iranian officials over the President of the United States?
I believe that based on all the information that's available and Donald Trump's track record of lying.
The leaders of the Iranian regime, they lie. I think the problem is we don't know if our president is also telling the truth.
I tend to believe Iran more than I do Donald Trump because he could not acknowledge the truth even when it is, he's slapped in the face with it repeatedly.
Why would the president lie about talking? All he does is talk. He talks to everybody, all day, all night. He was talking to Maduro hours before he snatched him in his PJs. Now, Obama's CIA director, he's running a psyop. He's trying to undermine the commander-in-chief 3 weeks into a war by spitting enemy propaganda. Or he just has TDS. Brennan lied about Russia, the laptop, Biden's brain. Who cares what he says? Brennan and his boss, Barry, gave the mullahs billions in cash and believed them when they said they weren't building a nuke. Oops. An hour later, Brennan looked like a fool.
There's important breaking news coming into the Situation Room. We're now learning from a senior Iranian source that there has been an outreach between the U.S. and Iran.
A senior Iranian source.
Ayatollah's word for it, but not the commander-in-chief's. Listen, politicians lie during war, both sides. You have a right to question what they say, but we're 3 weeks into this thing, and Iran's military's almost gone, and we're zeroing in on the oil while we're talking peace. I think it's going well.
We'll find out, Jesse.
I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm hoping it turns out well. JP Morgan's CEO, Jamie Dimon, says if this thing does go well, the payoff for America will be huge.
I think the Iran war makes it a better chance in the long run. It's probably riskier in the short run because we don't know the outcome of it. That attitude, that is not what the attitude was 20 years ago. They all want it. They can't have neighbors like, can lob ballistic missiles into their data centers thinking that people are going to put $10 billion in a data center.
Yeah.
The next hours are critical. If Iran's serious about a deal, we'll get there. If they refuse, Trump's justified to take the strait and seize the island because American paratroopers are almost there.
Yep. So I thought that was a...
Well, he definitely is making this up. There's no...
Anyway, I wasn't planning on watching the whole segment, but it's interesting because it really is a setup for the population to what to expect. It's like they're trying to say everything's great. We're giving them a chance at peace, but we're ready to kill them if not. And the Iranian military is gone, so when our troops go in there, they're not going to face any resistance. It's literally got everything to promote this ground invasion. So maybe they're right. We'll find out. So the next broadcast, March 27th. I'm still off Twitter for the next 6 days, or at least read-only mode. So, but I'll still be watching things. So March 27th, we'll see if that's Friday night after the markets close. We'll see if the ground invasion begins. So until then, have a nice night.